Avenue. Well, there's a big dilemma down on Wall Street. The Occupy Wall Street crowd got hold of the minutes of their most recent meeting from their website, and they have realized that chilly temperatures have set in, which means that they are going to need sleeping bags. So one of the challenges they have, honestly, one of the challenges they have is, should they knit their own sleeping bags, or should they sacrifice or compromise and go to a store and buy them? And because if they do that, they're engaging in capitalism, which is what they're protesting against. They're really conflicted about what, and that's just tip of the iceberg. How are you, folks? Rush Limbaugh on a day where the media is going nuts. Herman Cain has tied Mitt Romney in a poll. Rick Perry has raised a whole bunch of money, $17 million. The Politico has a story that says the opposition to Obama on the Democrat side and the Democrat Party and country at large, really, is deep and solid. And it's getting worse. And I'm starting to get a little suspicious here, folks. I think we need to have a little bit of suspicion about all these reports in the media reporting all the problems Obama has and all the trouble Obama's getting in. As we know, the mainstream media, the drive-bys, are agenda-oriented. They have got a purpose here. And while it's easy to think, okay, they're really getting worried, they might throw Obama overboard, it could be something else. Could be setting up, wow, look at this comeback type of theme. Or it could be that they're trying to frighten Obama into making sure that he doesn't moderate to the center, whatever. We're going to keep a sharp eye on it today and in the ensuing days. But you can't deny that the reporting on Obama is getting tougher. And his standing in the polls, the independents at large across the country, more and more of them are openly saying they disapprove of him and the job he's doing. You probably by now have heard reaction to Obama quoting Reagan to buttress his own, Obama's, plans for raising taxes. Now, that alone ought to make anybody who is informed about Reagan suspicious. Here you have Barack Obama, who wants to raise taxes, and he's going out and he's quoting Ronald Reagan, who everybody knows is famous for what? Cutting taxes. He has taken a small excerpt of a speech that Ronaldus Magnus did give back in 1985. But he's taken it out of context, and even though, Art Laffer's all over television, just ticked as he can be about this, and a number of other commentators have weighed in, as will I at some point on the program today. But before we get to the latest meanders, this Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street bunch is kind of like I felt back in 1985 when I was in Sacramento and the Great Peace March for Global Nuclear Disarmament thing got started. These people are going to march coast to coast for global nuclear disarmament. They went to Mount Shasta and did, I forget what it was. That's right, total harmonic convergence. So they went up top of Mount Shasta and they all went, hoping to send vibes to Reagan and Gorbachev not to push the nuke button. And then the idea was to march across the country, get to the Pentagon and stage a die-in. Which replicate what would happen at the moment of a nuclear blast, which essentially this all fell down and then started pouring red paint all over the steps to represent blood. Never happened, but that was the objective. Just as big a bunch of nuts, but this bunch of nuts is growing. And it's going to be fun to cover this crowd. And of course, they're getting serious treatment from some news organizations. One thing, note that it is reported they are everywhere except Washington. They're in New York. They're all over the place, but they are staying away from Washington. Why? when they have all these problems with capitalism and so forth, why are they not in Washington where all these decisions are actually made? And the reason is, of course, that they got no problem with what's going on in Washington with Obama and the Democrats. So they're going to stay out of there and just spend time in other cities. But nevertheless, some of the agony that they're going through is hilarious. It's literally hilarious. Should they spend their money on sleeping bags or bedroom slippers? Should they actually go to the grocery store, or should they ask for donations of food? They are doing everything they can to avoid engaging in capitalism. Wait till you hear some of the things that they're conflicted over. But first, ladies and gentlemen, this is also hilarious. Set the table for you. Get Obama, for the last 4 weeks, he's had this miniature book. He's been waving it around at every campaign stop. He's been saying, pass this bill now. Pass it now. My jobs bill. Pass it now. Demanding that Congress pass his jobs bill, the $450 billion worth of tax increases. The bill never intended to be signed. The bill never intended to be passed. It's there for the express purpose of allowing Obama and the Democrats to say the Republicans are the obstructionists. Okay, cut to the Republicans. The Republicans still quake in their boots over what's said about them by the mainstream media. So Obama says Republicans are standing in the way of you getting a job. Republicans are standing in the way of new roads and bridges and schools and all the infrastructure crap that's supposedly contained in the bill. Republicans hear that. They cringe. Mainstream media shows up at their press conferences. What do you think of that? Are you actually standing in the way of new schools and roads and bridges? Do you really not want people to get jobs? That's how it works. So the Republicans don't want to get questions like that, and they don't want to sit there and tell the press what is really going on because they're still intimidated by the press. Yet Eric Cantor says, sorry, this thing's dead. It's not going anywhere. That ratchets the media up and ratchets Obama up even more. See, Republicans don't care about you. They don't care about your house. They don't care about roads and bridges and schools. They don't care about you working. I do. I want you to have a job. See this? Pass this bill now. Dingy Harry, over in the Senate, is the only Democrat who's put his name to the bill. And he said publicly, nope, we're going to get to this in a month or so. Maybe the end of October. We've got other priorities. Besides that, I have a bunch of senators up for re-election in 2012, and I don't want to have them have to vote on this. They're not going to help them to have voted for tax increases, letting the cat out of the bag that the jobs bill is nothing but tax increases. So Dingy Harry shelves the bill. While Dingy Harry shelves the bill and says it's really nothing but tax increases and I don't want my guys voting on it, Obama's still out there blaming the Republicans for no action on the bill. And the media still goes to the Republicans. Why don't you want jobs for people? Why don't you want new roads, bridges, and schools? The Republicans are, geez, we're not us. Have you not heard what Reid's doing? So Mitch McConnell decides, you know what? Let's have a vote on this. The president's entitled to a vote. He has every right to get a vote on his jobs bill. That's what our country's all about. President proposes a piece of legislation. He wants new jobs. He ought to get a vote on that. Dingy Harry said, no, this is nothing more than a political trick. Jay Carney at the White House, much the same thing, says this is nothing more than gamesmanship and disingenuous, which it is. I mean, it is gamesmanship. McConnell saying, look, we're not the ones standing in the way, and we're going to illustrate here how it's the Democrats who don't want any part of this. So go ahead. We're going to arrange for a vote on this in the Senate. And Dingy Harry says, nope, not going to play those political games. Ain't happening. Audio sound bites, starting with Obama yesterday in Mesquite, Texas.
Yesterday, the Republican Majority Leader in Congress, Eric Cantor, said that right now he won't even let this jobs bill have a vote in the House of Representatives.
Boo, boo.
This is what he said.
Boo, boo.
Won't even let it be debated.
Oh.
Won't even give it a chance to be debated on the floor of the House of Representatives. Think about that. I mean, what's the problem? Do they not have the time? They just had a week off. Is it inconvenient?
All right, so see, table set. I got a bill that's going to put everybody back to work, new schools, new roads and bridges, and the Republicans don't want any part of it. They don't want you to have a job. Obama goes out and makes a speech. Here's Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor yesterday.
Yesterday, I tested the president's rhetoric. I proposed that we do exactly what he wants and vote right away on the second stimulus bill he's proposed as the supposed solution to our jobs crisis. And the Democrats blocked it. The president's own party is the only obstacle to having a vote on his so-called jobs bill. So my suggestion to the White House is that if the president wants to keep traveling around the country demanding a vote on this second stimulus, that he focus his criticism on Democrats, not Republicans, because they're the ones who are now standing in the way of an immediate vote on this legislation.
And that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. But you will not see the media report on this. In fact, AP story, Senate Democrats intend to jettison provisions that Obama recommended to pay for his jobs bill and substitute a tax surcharge on millionaires. Dingy Harry outlined plans for a 5% surcharge in a closed-door meeting with a rank and file, according to participants, as Obama traveled to Texas to deliver his most caustic challenge yet to House Republicans who have not allowed a... See, at the end of the day, the Republicans are the problem. You just heard Mitch McConnell go, let's vote on it. I'll say, here's Dingy Harry. After the Republicans want an immediate vote on Obama's so-called jobs bill that he is demanding, Dingy Harry says, not so fast.
I was so disappointed yesterday when my friend, the Republican leader, attempted to snuff out debate and prevent a bipartisan discussion about how to move the American Jobs Act forward. Rather than debating this bill on the floor, as we usually do, he wants to attack this important job creator.
Stop the tape! Where was the debate on Obamacare? Where were all the committee hearings on Obamacare? Now, remember, we had to pass that bill before we could know what was in it. So here's the rest of the bite.
Onto an unrelated measure. Again and again during the last few weeks, Republicans have rejected an all-or-nothing approach to legislation. So imagine my surprise when they were unwilling to engage in a thoughtful debate that this bill deserves.
So Dingy Harry tries to turn it around. No. We want to debate the bill. McConnell just wants a vote. Well, that's what the president says. The president says, give me a vote. Vote on it now. Pass this now. Now, the problem in the House is, I hate to tell you folks, there still isn't a bill in the House to vote on or debate. Nobody has put their name to it. I mean, it's there, but it doesn't have a sponsor. The only place where anybody can vote for or against Obama's so-called jobs bill is in the Senate. It has not been introduced in the House of Representatives. So this is classic. McConnell comes up, solution. Okay, president deserves a vote. Dingy Harry says, this is a trick. This is a trick. This is disingenuous. This is gamesmanship. We normally debate things around here. And my Republican friend is trying to forestall debates. This morning, Dingy Harry tried a new tack.
Democrats have listened to the American people, and they have been very, very clear. The American people believe it's time for millionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share to help this country thrive.
Believe it's time for millionaires and when have they not been paying their fair share? They're the only ones paying their fair share. The truth be known. So the Democrats are now saying that the Republicans, just as I told you, Republicans want your bridges to fall down so Obama won't get reelected. This is Maxine Waters last night on PMS NBC. Number 14.
Are you kidding? These are job killers, these guys. They would rather try and undermine the president and not allow this jobs bill to come up for a vote than create jobs for their own constituents or make sure that the highways and the byways are safe. Eric Cantor's district, 26%, well, in his state, 26% of all the bridges are in structural disrepair or functionally not able to work very well. He does not care about the safety of his district or his state or repairing this crumbling infrastructure. He would rather undermine the president, stop this jobs bill, but we're up to the fight now.
Yeah, see, Republicans want those bridges in North Carolina to fall down. And in South Carolina, Republicans want the bridges to fall down. Republicans want your senior citizen grandparents eating dog food. Republicans want your old folks kicked out of their houses and have their Social Security taken away. And now Republicans want the bridges to fall down. So Obama won't get reelected, or things like that. Bridges are in structural disrepair or are functionally not able to work very well. Is there what money? Grooming money? Oh, I'm sure she could get it if she grooming money. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I got one more soundbite here from Maxine Waters. Better take the break, or otherwise there'll be panic in areas I can't control it.
America's Anchorman, Rush, on the EIB Network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one by volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller. You'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screen if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans think that illegals should head back home. We used to think so too, till we realized illegals could pay 21% interest on their credit cards, just like the gringos. Introducing the all-new Bank of Amigo card. The Bank of Amigo card is the best friend an undocumented worker ever had. Packed with special features like bonus points for every day you're in our country. Good towards health care, border crossings, college education, fake IDs, and so much more. And the Bank of Amigo card is the only card endorsed by Senator John McCain.
If you need cash and can't wait till mañana, then the Bank of Amigo card is for you. Plus, the more you owe, the less likely you are to be deported.
There's no immigration check, no social security number required. Just sign your name, or anybody else's, on the dotted line.
Caramba, it's easier than sneaking in. Thanks, Bank of Amigo.
The Bank of Amigo card, because when it comes to money, we're all amigos.
And moving right along, Maxine Waters, I want you to try to figure out here again. Now, this is from last night on MSNBC. And the question she was asked is, Congresswoman Waters, besides telling everybody that the Republicans want bridges to collapse and seniors to have no Social Security, what else can the Democrats do?
These Republicans, the Tea Party people who are opposed to creating jobs, opposed to making their states safe by repairing the infrastructure, they have got to be contacted. Their representatives keep them uncertain about what's going on, and they talk about, oh, those are the people who burn the American flag, but they don't talk about their economic condition. They don't talk about the fact that they don't have jobs, they don't have health care clinics. And so Democrats have got to take that message right into their districts.
And the representatives keep them uncertain about what's going on, and they talk about those are the people who burn the American flag. They don't talk about their economic condition. They don't? We don't talk about our economic condition? And Baghdad Jim McDermott got in on this, and the question he got was, Congressman McDermott, aside from saying the Republicans want bridges to collapse and people to die in their cars going across the bridges and the senior citizens are going to be eating dog food because they're going to have no Social Security, what else can the president do? Is he doing all that he can do, in your opinion?
John Boehner has 171 bridges in his own district that he doesn't care about. He'd rather help Mitch McConnell sink the president when that's the highest priority. Those bridges you're driving over are not safe, and John Boehner doesn't care. I think sometimes about that bridge that fell down in Minneapolis, and you say to yourself, how would you like that to be your legacy in your district, that you didn't push to get those bridges repaired?
You would think I'm making this up. I'm just trying to be funny. This is what they're saying. Republicans want the bridges to collapse, just so Obama will fail. Republicans want you to die. They don't want you to have a house. They don't want you to have a job. They don't want to do anything. The bridge in Minnesota was not a repair problem, by the way. You know, these Wall Street clowns, they walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. Anybody warn them?
And now, Saving the World with Al Gore Jr.
Hello, this is Albert Gore Jr. And as I said in the New York Times, I, for one, genuinely wish that the climate crisis were an illusion. But unfortunately, the reality of the danger we are courting has not been changed by the discovery of at least two very small mistakes in the thousands of pages of careful scientific research. Small mistakes happen every day. Ask Charlie Rangel. He went on vacation and had no idea who was paying for it. Nancy Pelosi thought it was okay to fly friends and family and associates to Washington and to Copenhagen so that they could be near her. Honest mistakes happen all the time. Ask Governor Patterson, who sent a couple of state troopers to a woman's house to deliver a Hallmark card of sympathy, and it was mistakenly caught up in the press as some sort of threat. Well, I say all that to say this, that honest mistakes are made every day by Democrats everywhere. What's a few degrees in temperature either way? Cut me some slack.
Join us next time as we once again save the world with Al Gore Jr. And now a message from the Alan Alda Institute for Reformed Manliness.
Before I was enlightened here at the Institute, I too was a linear, logical thinker. Everything was black or white, right or wrong. I didn't need directions because I knew where I was going. Now, thanks to Alan, I can stay home and save gas as I ask myself why I was going in the first place. Without the valuable training I received, I wouldn't know how to cry at school plays and origami class. I wouldn't have been touched by Oprah's incredibly deep shows where I found out that I was too judgmental. So now I leave all the decisions up to Judy.
Who are you talking to?
No one, honey.
Then get in here and finish vacuuming!
Yes, dear. Thanks, Alan. This is such an adventure.
The Alan Alda Institute for Reformed Manliness. Make the change today. Do you have trouble being taken seriously?
How did you know?
Do you long for that certain special something lacking in your voice?
Uh-huh.
Do you want to make your average thoughts and ideas seem powerful and gifted?
Yeah.
Well, now you can have that confident, authoritative, God-like sound wherever you go with the Obamatron Verberator Pro. The Obamatron Verberator Pro is the only portable reverberation device personally endorsed by Barack Obama because it's so simple to use. Just implant the tiny sensor.
Wait.
And you can set your Verberator Pro for any occasion. Choose from Stately.
Wow, that is different. I feel so presidential. I come before you today to ask you for one of those tiny umbrellas for my drink.
Canyon.
Hello.
And for large egos, Der Führermeister.
I have led the accounting department to new and greater heights.
This holiday season, give the gift that no one can forget, the Obamatron Verberator Pro. The Verberator Pro is not for everybody on your list.
Some enchanted evening, you will see a stranger.
And may become annoying after a short period of time.
Looking good, huh? I'm talking about me.
Just to remind you, the Minnesota Bridge was a design flaw in that bridge. It was not a repair problem. It was an excellent repair, in fact. It was a design flaw, and that was the regime's own ruling, NTSB's official ruling. Okay, the rats are now scrambling below deck. Dingy Harry just held a press conference to announce a vote in a few days on Obama's tax bill.
The American Jobs Act, President Obama's program that we've talked about for the last several weeks. We hope to set up that first vote on that very, very soon within the next few days.
What changed here?
We're going to propose to pay for this important jobs legislation by asking people who make more than $1 million a year to pay 5% more to fund job creation and ensure this country's economic success. It's time for Republicans to stop their partisan games. Yesterday, what the Republican leader did on the floor is really disingenuous.
Yeah, well, why are you reacting to it, slime ball? What a snake. You know, the piece of paper that this transcript is printed on is greasy. I can barely hold on to the piece of paper. What a slickster. Okay, so they're now going to have a vote. The rats are scrambling below decks. They're going to have a vote, and they're going to set up a 5% tax increase to fund job creation. This is as idiotic as the Starbucks guy asking people to contribute $5 to a job creation fund when they buy a latte or whatever they buy at Starbucks. You missed that yesterday? Well, I thought you might have missed that when you're out there screening. Is this how we create jobs? We have a job fund at Starbucks? And, oh, by the way, let me find it. There's even Obama's getting on a tweet for jobs. Let me find that. I got that here in this. Yes, why hadn't we thought of this before? Tweet for jobs. Yep, President Obama's campaign adding another social media tool to pressure Congress to act on his jobs bill. On Tuesday, campaign is launching Tweet for Jobs, a tool that allows users to find their legislators and tweet directly to lawmakers their support for Obama's so-called jobs bill. The website reads, President Obama calling on members of Congress to pass his plan to create jobs, strengthen the economy, the American Jobs Act. You can help him. Urge your legislators to pass it. Use our tool to tweet your Republican lawmakers about why you support the president's plan. Meanwhile, the Republicans are not stopping it. This thing has no Democrat votes. So here's Dingy Harry. McConnell's move worked. Because people can logically figure this out. I mean, this is pathetic. The Democrats used to be much slicker and better at this. But this is embarrassing. McConnell calls for a vote, simply says that's what the president wants. President deserves a vote. Dingy Harry says that's gamesmanship. That's disingenuous. Why? We always have debate around here. And then the next day, Dingy Harry says, okay, we're going to have a vote. We're going to add a 5% tax on people making more than $1 million to fund job creation to ensure this country's economic success. In the old days of this program, back when life was a little bit more carefree, every day after prepping the show, I had a stack called the Silly Stack. Silly stack of stuff. Lighthearted, goofball, oddball stuff going on that had nothing to do, in many ways, with politics. This would qualify for it. These people are just getting more and more transparently ridiculous every day. We're going to propose to pay for this jobs legislation by asking people making more than $1 million a year to pay 5% more to fund job creation. As though Washington has anything to do with job creation. Washington has nothing to do with job creation. As we've seen the last 2.5 years, what Washington does is destroy jobs. What Washington does is put obstacles in the way of economic growth that would lead to job creation. Particularly Washington when run by Democrats and liberals. Aren't millionaires the ones that hire employees? Is this a good time to start punishing them? And Chuck U. Schumer got in on the act. After Dingy Harry finished, Chuck U. Schumer strode to the microphones.
We have spent the last several weeks planning how it can win the most votes on the Senate floor as one package. We believe we have found the best answer available. These tough economic times call for sacrifice, shared sacrifice. So we believe the best way to ensure this worthy package does not add to the deficit is to get rid of unneeded tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. This is a change from the original proposal. But we've consulted with the White House on this, and they're fine with the idea.
Oh, really? The White House plan had no tax increases on the millionaires and billionaires? I can't keep a straight face. You know, the scary thing, and at the same time the funny thing, is that there are dunderheads who believe this. There are knucklehead. There are plain just dumb people who believe all of this. And they're there, and you got to deal with it and put up with them. But I mean, this is just over the top ridiculous. Now, tweet for jobs, a tax increase to fund job creation, Starbucks collecting $5 to create jobs. And I'll bet you walk into your average public school, high school, middle school, grade school, pop your head into any class where some stupid teacher, and believe me, by stupid, I mean ill-educated, misinformed, don't know what's right, they've been taught a bunch of lies when they went to college and learned to be teachers, are filling their kids' heads with the biggest bunch of economic junk. I'll bet we could pop our heads into one of those classrooms, pick one at random, and we would be shocked. It will be here. Well, probably not, because it's been going on long enough now that we're familiar with it. So anyway, there you have it. Tweet for jobs, a new tax increase, Dingy Harry, obviously the pressure. The pressure to vote on this bill is intense. And what this means is that Dingy Harry's effort yesterday was a total bomb. Means that McConnell won this one. Why wouldn't he? Obama, waving it around, pass this bill now. McConnell says, President deserves a vote on his bill. Dingy Harry said, this is gamesmanship. We always have debate around here. We're not going to vote on this. We're not going to give the Republicans what they want. They just want to make sure our bridges fall down and our senior citizens die from eating poisoned dog food, and we're not going to let that happen. Then the next day, today, Dingy Harry comes, okay, we're going to have a vote on it real soon, and we're going to add something to it. We're going to raise taxes even again, and the White House is all for it. And why wouldn't they be? You want to take a bet that there won't be a vote on this? There are these Democrats in the Senate. Who are up for re-election, the last thing they want to do is go on record voting for this thing with all these tax increases in it. I don't think Dingy Harry has enough votes to give all those. He's got too many senators up for re-election. I don't think he can give them a pass and let them all vote no, because then the bill won't pass. And I can't believe that they're going to have a vote on this when the bill fails. You don't do that. The president's out there waving it around. The Democrats run the Senate. They have a vote, and it's defeated. I mean, that blows up the whole purpose of this. We'll keep a sharp eye on it, folks, but that's the original take on it.
Making your dreams come true. Rush on the EIB Network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV, too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885?
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch-tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
Yeah, if we had a silly stack, I got something else to put in it. Let's tweet for Moochell. We have now learned that on a recent vacation trip, Moochell and her 20-person traveling party, or 21-person traveling party, spent over $500,000. Now we know. They knew that story was coming. They knew Moochell, 21 people, $500,000 over the Thanksgiving holidays, and it was billed a working trip. Yeah, like I assemble my staff for all 4 days of the Thanksgiving weekend, and we work really hard. The two Obama daughters were listed on the trip as senior staff. Senior staff, the two little girls, senior staff. And given some of the policy that came out about that time, that makes sense. But now we know. Now we know why they dressed Michelle up like a cleaning lady and sent her over to Target to buy Lysol. Because they knew this was coming. Tweet for Moochell. And by the way, folks, I have here in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers, lo and behold, I just asked or pointed out if we pop our head into any school economics class, we would be shocked and saddened by what we hear. Cookie informs me that we have just such a teacher. Last night on Sergeant Schultz's show on MSNBC, spoke with the woman that Obama introduced in his speech on the American Jobs Act in Mesquite, Texas yesterday. She's a laid-off teacher. Her name is Kim Russell. And Sergeant Schultz said to the laid-off teacher that was part of Obama's speech yesterday, I got to ask you, how do you feel about what's taking place in this country right now, where it could be an investment in jobs, and it doesn't appear to be happening?
I'm very disappointed.
Stop the tape a minute. Stop. I want to reemphasize, this woman is a teacher. She's, I don't know what grade, but she is a teacher of children.
Being a teacher, just in general, you teach your kids always to get the best education possible because they can be who or whatever they want to be.
Wait a minute. Stop. Now, I'm sorry. I parse words. I mean, I'm a wordologist. Words are my business. And so I listen very carefully to the words other people use. Now, you might think I'm nitpicking here, but she just said, in general, you teach your kids always to get the best education possible. So in her class, where kids are ostensibly getting the best education possible, that's what she's telling them? And remember, you got to get the best education possible while they're being educated. She says that. I wonder how many students say, yeah, and it ain't happening here. Okay, go back to the top of the bite, and I will not interrupt the rest of it. This is a woman, I don't know what she teaches. Doesn't say here what she teaches. Maybe nobody knows, but she is a teacher.
I'm very disappointed. Being a teacher, just in general, you teach your kids always to get the best education possible because they can be who or whatever they want to be. Being a government and economics teacher, I teach them that America is one of the most thriving countries and innovative countries in the world, and that basically every other country wants to have have basically the type of government economic system we have, and then I have to turn around and say, but you know what? At this point now, we're in a position where we've never seen this type of thing before, where there are positions of police, nurses, teachers.
We've never seen this type of thing before, where there are positions of police, nurses, and teachers. I guess she means not working. But anyway, doesn't say. I don't know what she teaches. It teaches government and economics. Teaches government and economics, right? And she also teaches how important it is to go to get a good education. She said that. She teaches that. Teach your kids always to get the best education possible. Texas, Susan Mesquite, Texas. Obama used her. She was one of the props on stage yesterday. She's an unemployed teacher. And so he brought her up on stage. This is the kind of woman. Jobs bill. Hey, put her back to work, along with millions of other people. And they cross the bridge on the way to work. That bridge ain't going to fall down if you pass this bill now. And, of course, the only reason that the bridges are going to fall is because the Republicans want them to. That's right. The Republicans have probably snuck over to some of these bridges and put dynamite underneath them. That's the next thing that we're going to hear. Make this woman senior staff. Take her on the next Mochel vacation. Or have her go along with you on the next shopping trip to Target. Tutor the kids. There you go. Tutor the kids. Let's grab a quick phone call. John in his truck on I-40 in Arkansas. Welcome to the EIB network, sir. Hi.
Hey, Rush. Hey, listen, I just want to say that each truck out here company spends $4,500 a year on their units. Our company has 1,500 units. That's $6,750,000 a year that they pay to the federal government. Now, that's supposed to go to the government. They're supposed to divvy it to the states. States are supposed to divvy it to the county. So the infrastructure that's not getting done, I'd just like to know where the money's going.
You know, you have asked the single best question of the day. Tax revenue in this country generates $3 trillion a year. We spend $4.5 trillion, so $1.5 trillion that we don't have. The idea, after the government raises $3 trillion and we're spending $4.5, and the idea that we're short on infrastructure, that we're short on funds for education, we are not short on anything. This is not a money problem. We don't need the guy at Starbucks passing a cup for $5. We don't need Tweet for Jobs, and we don't need these idiot Democrat senators raising taxes on millionaires and billionaires and corporate jet owners to fund job creation. We need these people to take a permanent vacation and just stop doing what they're doing. The amount of money that this country has, the amount of money the states have, you would be stunned to learn. We all would be stunned to learn where so much of that money is going. And I mean into the back pockets of individuals. And pensions, 30-year pensions and lifetime health care for people who worked for 10 years. That kind of thing. I got to take a break. It's a good thing, too, because I'm
Rush Limbaugh. America is listening on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV, too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
We got more details here on the new tax from the for millionaires. It's a millionaire's tax for 10 years that Schumer and Dingy Harry are proposing. Senator Schumer said the surtax would impact any income earned by people above $1 million annually. It would also impact dividends and capital gains. And Schumer said that it would be in place for 10 years. So presumably this 5% tax would be piggybacked on the tax increase when the Bush tax cuts end in 2013. There's a major tax increase Dingy Harry is adding to Obama's bill.
There's just one place to go for all your spatula needs. Spatula City! Spatula City! A giant warehouse of spatulas for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And because we eliminate the middleman, we can sell all our spatulas factory direct to you. Where do you go when you want to buy name brand spatulas at a fraction of retail cost? Spatula City! Spatula City! And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 spatulas, get the 10th one for just 1 penny. Don't forget, they make great Christmas presents.
And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a spatula?
Spatula City! Spatula City!
Hello, this is Cy Greenbloom, president of Spatula City.
Spatula City, 7 locations. We're in the yellow pages under Spatulas. Spatula City! Spatula City! A giant warehouse of spatulas for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And because we eliminate the middleman, we can sell all our spatulas factory direct to you.
I like their spatulas so much, I bought the company.
Where do you go when you want to buy name brand spatulas at a fraction of retail cost? Spatula City! Spatula City! And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 spatulas, get the 10th one for just 1 penny.
Spatula City, we sell spatulas, and that's all.
Don't forget, they make great Christmas presents.
And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a spatula?
Spatula City! Spatula City!
Hello, this is Cy Greenbloom, president of Spatula City. I like their spatulas so much, I bought the company.
Spatula City, 7 locations. We're in the yellow pages under Spatulas.
Spatula City, we sell spatulas, and that's all.
It's the biggest movie of the summer. The greatest Western to hit the silver screen in years. The Moderate 7. From out of the West came a bold maverick leader of 6 Republican moderates.
Saddle up, boys and girls. We're burning daylight, and we've got a long way to go.
7 moderates willing to take on the forces of evil in Washington.
John, who's he talking about?
Our party, Lindsay.
Who?
The Republicans.
You mean we're going to fight each other?
I'll explain later. Let's ride!
Feel the tension as they meet in secret with old Chief Silverbird.
I am pleased that you have come to powwow with me. Oh, great chief, what can we do to make peace with your people? Much wampum. First, lay down all of your weapons. Then bend over and grab your ankles as a sign of bipartisanship. And I, Chief Silverbird, will release 3 hostages and scalp all the rest. It's a deal.
The Moderate 7, the boldest moderate movie ever. Check listings for showtimes. Now a message in the public interest about PTSD, pre-traumatic stress disorder.
Does anyone you know attend a radical mosque with a jihadist imam? Does he or she attempt to reach out to Al-Qaeda? Say inflammatory things online or at the workplace about America, the great Satan? At first you might think they could be an Islamic terrorist nutjob, but they are just suffering from PTSD, pre-traumatic stress disorder.
Pre-traumatic stress disorder is caused by the stress one experiences from George W. Bush's mistaken attempt to defend our country against terrorism by sending troops overseas.
So before you jump to conclusions and get all judgmental about people who act differently than you, remember, gunning down random soldiers and shouting Allahu Akbar may just be a cry for help.
This message about pre-traumatic stress disorder brought to you by the Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, who's more worried about offending terrorists than protecting you. Big Deal Productions presents the next chapter in the Lord of the Bling series, Return of the Bling. As joblessness fills the land, Sergeant Wasserman Schultz leads an army of media orcs, while Lord Barry, the Wizard of Smart, uses his amazing supernatural powers of persuasion against the Republican leadership.
If I can't borrow more money, bad things will happen.
Okay. Here.
Whoa, thanks. Michelle and I will be at the mall if you need us. Bye.
Return of the Bling, with John McCain as John McCain.
Just vote for it, you stupid Tea Party hobbits.
I think we need to read it first. Yeah, it might not be constitutional.
Oh!
Harry Reid as Gollum.
Nasty hobbitses. Leave my precious alone.
Oh, Harry, I didn't know you cared.
Return of the Bling.
And I want 2 of them, and 6 billion of those, and 15 billion.
Same Obama, different day. Return of the Bling. Playing out in Congress.
Now, if I buy this, will you throw that in too? Well, oh, wait a minute. I got the money. What am I thinking?
What's faster than a golf cart and more convenient than a bicycle? The all-new Chevrolet Volt from Government Motors.
The Chevrolet Volt is the game changer that America's been waiting for a huge subsidy to buy. Its unique green technology makes it able to go up to 40 miles on a single charge. You'll feel great about your contribution to the environment every time you plug it in and wait to go to the mall, wait to go to work, and wait to go back home. And with Fannie Mae financing, you don't have to qualify for a loan or pay it back if you don't want to. So buy yours today before we find out you didn't.
The Chevrolet Volt, the new people's car from Government Motors. 40-mile range estimated based on downhill test only without air conditioning. Extension cord, D-cell batteries, duct tape, and rubber bands not included. $7,500 subsidy may be taxed as income if we feel like it.
Greetings, my good friends, conversationalists, music lovers, thrill seekers all over the fruited plain. Rush Limbaugh serving humanity. Executing assigned host duties flawlessly. Zero mistakes. And as usual, half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. Rasmussen just released a new generic poll. Any Republican, 47%. Obama, 41%. Any Republican, 47%. Obama, 41%. And you know what it means? Nothing. Zilch, zero, nada. It doesn't mean diddly squat. No, doesn't mean. Well, it might matter for fundraising. It might matter for debate positioning. But in terms of predicting the outcome of the election, doesn't mean anything. It's an interesting talking point, but not much more. I mentioned at the open of the program that I've got some stuff on the official site of those kooks calling themselves Occupy Wall Street. The official site, these kooks, is called General Assembly. And I have here the minutes from a meeting where they discussed, they had a meeting, minutes of the meeting, posted the meeting minutes on their website, and discussed at length, should we sew our own sleeping bags or give in and buy them? Here's a little excerpt. I'm concerned that buying new sleeping bags is against the principles that people came here for. Why? Justine. Well, I was under the understanding that there is an anti-capitalist, by the way, capitalist spelled C-A-P-O-T, every time it's written here, capitalist. I was under the understanding there's an anti-capitalist part of this movement, and consumptions, when we feel emergency need, is how we deal with the issue of capitalism. Should we address issues the same way? On that point's been brought up before. On the point of consumption, it'll be next to impossible for us to operate without buying some of the stuff we need. We try to balance our principles with our need without making it too difficult. I've been visiting Salvation Army stores and buying as many sleeping bags as I can, so I believe it's possible for us to get our supplies from charity stores and the like. I have an idea. These people, they obviously want to live in their communes. And they want to sew their own sleeping bags. And there's more. I mean, that's this little excerpt. Why don't we find a state with vast wilderness where the federal government owns significant acreage and just give these people a piece of that land? They can knit their own clothes and sleeping bags. They can grow their own food and their own pot. But they will have to walk there. So we make sure it's a western state. Montana, Idaho, a lot of open air out there, a lot of federal land. These people want to live as far away from capitalism as possible. Fine, give them the land. They can go knit and sew, do whatever they want to do out there. But, of course, they can't use the airlines. They can't drive cars. Those are evil, destroying the planet, capitalist. General Assembly minutes, October 3rd, 7:30 p.m. Wanted to make sure that we, the people, are okay with the people up front running it. The people up front are facilitators. Anybody can facilitate it if they get in touch with the working group. Well, is a co-facilitator. Bree is, but she wants consent on whether or not we agree for them to be facilitators. Let's move the agenda first. It's passed with no blocks. The first point, comfort budget. Okay, here's Jeff. He's one of the guys, one of the leaders of the group, and they got a budget for comfort. He says, I work with comfort. Now, we have some major concerns about people sleeping here. Mainly, we need sleeping bags. Sleeping bags cost money, and no one's donating sleeping bags. So with that in mind, we have a proposal to use some of the donated money to buy sleeping bags, and we would like to request about $2,000 from the donated fund for sleeping bags. We think if we buy 100 $20 sleeping bags, that'd be enough for the time being. How this will work, we'll ask for questions, then concerns, then blocks, and then we'll vote. Okay, so I just want to know how many people are sleeping here already, and if it's projected that number will increase. Somebody on medical counted around 400 the other night, and it has been increasing. My question is, does the budget requested account for taxes on the sleeping bags? This is what these people were talking about at their board meeting. This is the Occupy Wall Street group. How long will $20 sleeping bags last with winter coming up? David says, not very. Somebody else says, yeah, it's a great concern. We have none currently, and they're the most asked for item. We'd rather buy cheap ones now. We also have more blankets than sleeping bags, so you can use blankets in conjunction with sleeping bags. Well, how many requests for sleeping bags do we get every day? Well, he doesn't know off the top of his head an accurate number, but he would guess about 100. Well, maybe we should not just buy the fabric, just do that and then construct the sleeping bags ourselves. Then they go on to say that I'm concerned buying a new sleeping bag is against the principles that people came here for. Somebody says, why? Well, I was under the understanding there's an anti-capitalist part of this movement, and consumptions, when we feel emergency need, is how we deal with the issues of capitalism. Then the next set of minutes, needs of the occupiers. Most needed, sleeping bags, blankets, tarps, and large clear plastic storage bins to keep it all dry. Polar fleece sweaters, pants, socks. This is what they want people to give them. The Occupy Wall Street kooks. This is what they want people to donate them. It isn't going to be long, folks, before we are going to hear that the Republicans gave the protesters blankets that were infected with smallpox. You wait. Some of these people are going to get sick. They're going to blame it on Republican donations to try to thin the herd. Well, if the Republicans are going to fix the bridges so they collapse when you drive across one and sabotage all the bridges and so forth, we're also looking for volunteer legal counsel, doctors, nurses, dentists, mental health professionals, a volunteer accountant, volunteer computer expert, artists, people willing to do loads of laundry, and folks to print off flyers for us. Dedicated, capable volunteers for the food committee. And then they've got a website, tax-deductible monetary donations can be made at. So they want capitalists to give them stuff. Doctors, nurses, and they want these people to perform their services free, while they are at the same time protesting everything that would make any of that possible. It's obvious that that's what they need. They obviously need more mental health professionals than anything else. But in that list of people they need, isn't that a group of people you'd describe as the rich? Legal counsel, doctors, nurses, dentists, mental health professionals, an accountant, computer experts, artists, and, of course, people willing to do laundry. Why can't they do their own laundry? Oh, because they're going to be too busy protesting. Exactly. So this is who these people are. This is what they're agonizing over. They need all this stuff, but it's a great conflict because to go buy it, they think is self-defeating. That's helping the capitalists. So they want the capitalists, people they're protesting against, to come donate items and their services. See, these people's mothers, usually the ones doing their laundry, but now mom's not around. It's their mother that makes their beds, but mom's not around. And it's their mom and dad that put food on the table for them, but their mom and dad aren't around because they hate their mom and dad because their mom and dad are evil capitalists. So they're out living on the cheap in their mind while asking all the people that actually make the country work to give them stuff.
And you thought it couldn't get any better. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al
LTV.
And you'll want your LTV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
I was 10 years old, Snurdly. When I was 10 years old, I was more self-sufficient than this parade of human debris calling itself Occupy Wall Street. No, I was in the Scouts, yeah. I was a Boy Scout for a while. No, Cub Scout for a while. I even got some badges. I was a Boy Scout for a year. I was a tenderfoot for a year. I didn't do anything. I hated it. Didn't like it. Went on one camping trip, got the Gold Brick Award for absolute worst, most useful guy on the camping trip. I would have probably fit in with this group, but that was just a protest. My parents made me join. I didn't want to join it. So I went to the top of this mountain. I just watched everybody else build the tents and put the leaves on the bottom. I got the Gold Brick. It was an honor. But I never once advertised that I was a parasite, like these people are doing. If you look at the minutes and read their website, these people are announcing that they're parasites. They are not self-sufficient, and that they are totally dependent on the very things and people they're protesting. Who in the world knits their own sleeping bags and has a board of directors meeting about it for an hour before they decide? This bunch. I wouldn't doubt, if we're not careful, the next president of this country is going to come out of this group. Richard in Houston, as we go back to the phones, great to have you on the program, sir. Hello.
It is great to talk to you, Russ. By the way, I've tried your tea, and it's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, I wish I would have won a year's supply, though.
Well, hang in there. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that because we got countless promotions coming up.
Anyway, my point is right after Obama got elected, I believe it was right after he got elected, he was saying that there's a time for profit, but the time is not now. But here, when he's trying to do this new jobs bill, he made the statement that we need to be able to start our own businesses and become millionaires and billionaires. Now, how contradictory is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember the statement when he made it?
I had not, I have to admit, did he really say now is not the time for profit? I mean, I'm not surprised. I didn't know he said that. I've been too busy following the Amanda Knox story.
He said there's a time for profit, but that time is not now.
There's a time for profit, but it's not now. And yet, at the same time, we're supposed to become millionaires and billionaires.
In other words, he didn't want us to make any money because, he has an agenda, I believe. He really is trying to destroy America. I really believe he is.
Yeah, well, I do too, as founded. There's always going to be an America. Just a matter how it's spelled and what it is. But there's always going to be an America. I think there is a war against the way the country was founded. So there's a time and place for profit, but not now. And this guy got a vote. And this guy won. A time for profit, but not now. I'll tell you when it's time for profit. All right. Richard, appreciate the call. Thanks much. I'm glad you love the tea. Richard, you know what? You said you wanted to win some tea for a year, and I don't have that. Let's do you use computers?
Do I use computers?
Yeah, you familiar? Are you computer literate?
No, I'm not illiterate. I use it quite a bit. I wouldn't say I'm a software specialist or anything like that.
Well, no, I'm not asking, but you know how to surf the web and send email and stuff?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I want to give you, Richard, because my prize closet is growing here, and I want to send you, I don't have these in yet. There's a paperback version of a book written about me. It's semi-biographical. It's by Zev Chaff. It's called An Army of One. And the paperback version is out now. And I have recommended the book to people. I did participate a little bit in it, and it's as good as anything that's been written about me. And they're going to send me some paperback. We got them. Okay, we got the paperback. So I'm going to send you, Richard, since you knew something that I didn't know. That deserves a prize. And I'm going to send you a Rush Limbaugh signature EIB engraved iPad 2 and a copy of An Army of One. So what I need you to do is hold on, and Snerdley will pick up the phone. He'll get all the information that we need from you to send it to you.
Okay.
And iPad will be perfect for you. It's the most intuitive computer out there. You can use it out of the box on your own. You're going to have to have iTunes and all, get to activate it and so forth. But that's a snap. It's easy, and the book is good too. So I mean, it's your lucky day here.
It's absolutely wonderful.
And I'll tell you what else, Richard. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. Since you sound so excited out there, I am going to throw in a case of tea. What's your flavor? What's your favorite flavor?
I like the raspberry, regular, not diet. The raspberry.
Diet or regular?
Regular.
Regular diet.
Regular.
Okay. Regular raspberry. The one with sugar.
Regular raspberry. Yes,
okay,
sir.
Stuff that causes diabetes. Good. We'll send you a case. No, our tea does not cause diabetes. That's a popular misconception about sugar. Sugar doesn't cause it either. We'll send you a case of raspberry tea, engraved iPad, and a paperback copy of Army of One. You can read, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm sure. Okay, good. So, your lucky day, Richard.
I'm telling you, I might pull off the road here because I don't want to lose my connection.
No, don't. Okay, pull off the road and stop. Snerdley will be with you in just a second. See, folks, it just goes to show you. Just goes to show you I don't know what it goes to show you, but it just goes to show you. Obama did say that to Wall Street bankers January 30th of 2009, 29th to 30th. There's a time for profit, but not now. How about that? Jake in Tampa, Florida. Welcome, sir, to the EIB Network. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Rush. It's a great honor to speak with you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Listen, I was just thinking maybe we should stop calling this, the new Obama jobs bill. Maybe start calling it the New Deal. Because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, that works. I like it's a tax bill. It really, that's all it is. If you go through it, it's tax increase here, tax increase there, and now they're adding even more taxes to it. But new deal, new raw deal.
It's a nation destroyer deal is what it is.
You can also call it same old deal.
I mean, I'm a 20-year-old capitalist, as those kooks like to say, and even I'm getting this stuff, so,
You're only 20?
Yes, sir.
You are a 20-year-old capitalist.
That I am.
That's how it's written on these kooks' website.
I'm proud of it, too.
What do you do for a living?
I work in a warehouse, vending machine warehouse.
Work in the warehouse, vending machine worker. Oh, cool. All right.
How's also trying to spread the diabetes.
How is, yeah, right. How, I'm going to catch hell for saying that because how is business? How is the vending machine business and the vending machine work? Because if you're in the warehouse, you'll know.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, it's doing well. We're growing a bit and doing okay.
Well, I'm not surprised. People have to eat.
That's true.
And a vending machine's easier than cooking.
Yeah.
And if you're dumb, you don't know how to cook, you can't read recipes, it's just cheaper to go to a vending machine or a fast food place.
Yeah, like I said, Michelle Obama might disagree with you there, but,
I'm sure she would, but what does she know?
Yeah.
All right, well, good. Jake, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. It's John in Plantation, Florida. Hi, welcome to the EIB Network.
Hi, Rush. Thank you so much for allowing me on your show.
Thank you, sir.
My theory is about these demonstrators that just popped up in New York. My theory is that there's some sort of conspiracy with the White House and the Democrats. They're looking for some group of people to confront the Tea Party next year. And the reason I believe this is because, first of all, when they're asked questions, they're there for no reason. They don't have any agenda.
Oh, I know. You know, this is a great point. In fact, I even saw, I think you're really onto something here. I saw earlier this week,
yes,
maybe late last, whatever, some of the first stories on this group popped up. I think it was in the Politico or someplace, actually framed this as answer to the Tea Party. I think you're exactly right. I think this is not spontaneous. I think this is structured, and the way the media is reporting it, like MSNBC is reporting on this like it's going viral and like it's totally spontaneous and like everybody's shocked. But this is really big. This is really serious. This really this bunch of lunatics is getting more respect than the Tea Party ever has in the drive-by media. I'm like you. I agree with you totally about that.
And now, Andy Griffith for Obamacare.
1965. A lot of good things came out that year, like Medicare. And now we got us Obamacare. And this year, just like always, you're going to have your guaranteed benefits right up until the time you get sick. So all you old angry white folks out there joining the tea parties and protesting and all, just calm down and be a good cracker. Good cracker. Tell them the new rules, Barney. Well, you see, it's like this. Here in Washington, everybody has to play by the rules. And we've developed a rule book just for you there at home. 62,528 new rules to help you through the process of healthcare in an orderly, organized fashion. Rule number 1. There are no peanut butter and jelly sandwiches allowed in any hospital day or night, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rule number 2. If any named insured of a qualified plan gets sick, He or she must fill out request form 24/7.
For more information on Obamacare and how it affects those 65 and older, just get sick and you'll find out. Now that you know about the costly environmental impact of hybrid vehicles, are you ready for an environmentally friendly car that will always make you feel good about yourself?
Yeah!
Then check out the all-new Virtual 6000, the world's first carbon-neutral car. From the interior to the exterior, you'll agree it's a one-of-a-kind car that stands out from all the rest. And since the Virtual 6000 is made from sturdy, recycled cardboard, the options are unlimited. Need a sunroof? Just cut one out.
Well, what about safety?
Don't worry. The Virtual 6000 just sits in the living room, so you can pretend to go anywhere, anytime, and feel safe from the threat of SUVs. The Virtual 6000 uses no gas, no batteries. It's totally carbon neutral, and at only $20,500, it costs less than any hybrid around. The Virtual 6000 from Pretend Motors. Economical and environmentally safe.
Get out of my way!
Now, something new yet familiar to everyone. It's Ron Artest.
Hey, no fool. Stop with the old school rap and bust it with the now. You gotta do representing for me, Ron Artest.
Word up to all peeps, some fresh tracks been laying down.
What up? This Ron Artest, busting out with some old school oldies with a fresh twist. Ain't no suspension long enough. There ain't no fines that are big enough. Ain't no jail term long enough to keep me from beating on you.
And I really mean hicks.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Gonna find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You better not be dissing me, yo.
Spreading the love.
Peeps all over the world, join hands, make a love train or beat your brain.
True warrior even does Streisand.
Peeps who beat other peeps are the happiest peeps in the world.
Ron Artest does the oldies with a fresh twist and a clenched fist.
He's a jolly good felon, and I'm a jolly good felon. We are jolly good felons, and if you don't agree, you'll die.
Getting real.
Baby, 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 where did my pay go? Endorsements done left me now. I need me a new loan, you know?
Ron Artest, oldies with a fresh twist. From Concussion Records.
Yeah, we put the con back in concussion.
Available at NBA games and bail bondsmen everywhere.
True that.
I don't think there's any question, now I think about it, that the White House is behind Occupy Wall Street. You have unions involved. You have MoveOn.org involved. You have the Communist Party USA pushing this thing. No, there's no question. And I think the idea that this is strategically centered and created to look as though there is an effervescent, spontaneous, bubble-up response to the Tea Party is exactly what this is. And that's why. No, it's not organic at all. It's manufactured. And that's why some in the state-controlled media are giving it legitimacy. Because they hate the Tea Party. They hate the Tea Party on a number of reasons. One reason is that it is organic. They hate the Tea Party because there isn't a leader. They hate the Tea Party because they can't tie it to the Republicans. They hate the Tea Party because they can't control it. They hate the Tea Party because the Tea Party is large and they had nothing to do with it. They hate it because it's independent. And they hate it because it's conservative. They've done everything they can to discredit it by insulting the people who are members of the Tea Party. They're racists and sexist and all this kind of thing. It's not working. So this is the latest effort to make it look like Tea Party is so hated and so despised that there is this organic, spontaneous combustion of a movement made up of people who just happen to love Barack Obama and want him to be reelected. Now, the idea, Wall Street protest this month, the idea for doing the Occupy Wall Street protest was started by Canadians. It's the brainchild of a Canadian anti-consumerist magazine called Adbusters, which registered the domain name OccupyWallStreet.org back in June. Now, among other things, this bunch, Adbusters, the anti-consumerist magazine, has a long histoire of anti-Semitism. So, in their corrupt and perverted minds, Jewish money traders, Jewish bankers on Wall Street, why, it's a natural target. So you have a group largely steeped in anti-Semitism in Canada providing the idea for this. In general, they're an anti-capitalist group. They have had they had a thing called Buy Nothing Day. Of course, it was a flop, but they still had it. They had Buy Nothing. You remember when Buy Nothing Day was, but they couldn't convince anybody to buy nothing. And now these are the clowns out there. Who in the world knits sleeping bags? Who in the world even sews them? Well, these people are agonizing over it. But they're basically political tools. They are a laughable joke, but they are being given credence and credibility by a state-controlled media and administration that is hungry for an appearance of grassroots love and support for the one, which, of course, there is none. It's all gone. It's vanished. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, and Monday too, spent some time talking about Bank of America and a new $5 charge to use your debit card. Went to great lengths to explain to you why the charge popped up. Two reasons, just to review. The Chris Dodd-Barney-Frank Financial Regulatory Reform Bill, which ostensibly, the way it was pitched and sold, was a consumer protection bill to make sure that these Wall Street titans and these big banks weren't able to continue screwing everybody. So they pass the Financial Regulatory Reform Act, which imposes all kinds of new charges and taxes, if you will, on banks, and at the same time forces them to reduce other charges. They're basically basically running elements of the banking business. One of the things that they mandated in Dodd-Frank was a reduction in transaction fees from 44 cents to 24 cents every time a credit card swiped. Well, the banks simply said, okay, well, fine, we're going to make that money back elsewhere. We got shareholders, and we have profit motive, and we're doing it now. This is the time for profit. It's always the time for profit, and we have to show a profit. That's what we have to try for a profit. That's why we're in business. So to make up what they were forced to lose, B of A started charging $5 for debit card usage. This then created what has become standard operating procedure. Here you have the Colonel Sanderses of the chicken house, the Democrats in the Senate, Chris Dodd and Barney Frank, passing legislation that is detrimental and harmful to the banks and consumers ultimately. This is always the result. Whenever the Democrats tell you that they're engaging in legislation to make things more affordable for you, without fail, things are going to become more expensive, as this case and story demonstrates. That the real culprit is Senator Durbin. And Senator Durbin had an amendment. And his amendment, without reading the words, his amendment, without boring you with all the details of it, his amendment specifically is why Bank of America instituted the $5 charge for debit card use. So when that happens, Durbin goes to the floor of the United States Senate on Monday and urges Bank of America customers to stop doing business. Get out of that bank. go to a smaller community bank where they're not charging you these fees and ripping you off, and that's not his job, and that is irresponsibility. It could be tortious interference. It could be illegal if done by anybody else. The floor of the U.S. Senate and urging people to leave Bank of America. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, I got no brief for Bank of America. I don't use Bank of America. I don't know anybody at Bank of America. My point is that the federal government has got no business running day-to-day operations, nor do they have any business setting fees or prices at banks. The market does that. And now they have interfered. So now that the new fees have been charged, Durbin, because of his amendment, now acts outraged. How dare these people? When all that's happened is the banks have reacted to Durbin's law. Durbin just expects, like every other Democrat, they're going to pass a law mandating this industry pay more in taxes or that group of individuals pay more taxes. And what happens is the targets end up finding ways around it because the Democrats fail to score all this stuff dynamically. They just think that their targets are going to bend over, grab the ankles, and take it. And, of course, their targets are far more creative than these dunderheads in the Senate who haven't the slightest clue what goes on in a free market. So then Durbin goes to the floor of the Senate, and he wants to be the hero. And he wants to tell you these banks are screwing you, and they're trying to defy our consumer protection efforts and our wonderful financial regulatory reform bill. And his solution is to actually tell you to leave Bank of America, which could cause a run on that bank. And if you doubt me, check Chuck Schumer and the IndyMac Bank out in California. He did start a run on that bank, and that was one of the things that led to the 2008 financial meltdown. It was part of it. So yesterday, the Washington Post. Now, we did this story yesterday, but we didn't get the Post version of it. Banks defend debit card fees amid pressure from Washington. The banking industry on Tuesday defended a controversial new fee on debit cards as some Democrats called on consumers to abandon financial institutions that imposed the charge. Representative Brad Miller, Democrat, North Carolina, introduced a bill that would make it easier for customers to close their accounts and prohibit banks from assessing fees for the process. Meanwhile, Senator Dick Durbin sent a letter to community banks and credit unions in Illinois urging them to seize this competitive opportunity to woo customers away from larger institutions. Well, this is piling one outrage on top of another. First, Durbin tells everybody from the Senate floor to leave Bank of America. And then he sends a letter to smaller banks in Illinois and tells them to seize the opportunity that he has given them by forcing people out of a Bank of America to go get them as new customers. Durbin said politicians may not have the highest approval ratings, but I don't think Wall Street banks and credit cards do either. And this debate centers on the $5 monthly fee that Bank of America plans to begin charging next year to customers with most basic checking accounts who use their debit cards to shop. Now, to me, I mean, this unacceptable, outrageous, I can't, even with my vast vocabulary, I'm having trouble coming up with words that adequately express my anger about this, because the reason all this is happening is Dick Durbin. You know, Dick Durbin gets to sit here and make it look like he's riding to everybody's rescue, when what he's trying to do is destroy Bank of America. It's not his job to destroy Bank of America. He and Barney Frank and Chris Dodd took aim at banks with their legislation. What are the banks supposed to do? Just sit there and, as I say, bend over, grab the ankles, and take it? And now Brad Miller, Democrat, North Carolina, introduced a bill to make it easier for customers to close their accounts. The banks are saying that these new fees are the consequence of a new federal rule. Everything would have been fine. There wouldn't have been a debit card charge if there hadn't been a financial regulatory reform bill, folks. Now, I realize that I'm probably on a losing end of this. I understand the emotion. I remember when ATM fees went up 25 cents. People just had a cow. And I didn't understand it on the basis that other things in life are far more expensive than that. This really ticked people off. It wasn't a large increase at all. So it's a cumulative effect of the Democrat Party demonizing banks and financial institutions. And all the while, at the end of the day, behind closed doors, when it's time to donate and fundraise, so guess who the Democrats call on? This cockeyed group of protesters. Protesting all this capitalism, who do they think Obama's in bed with? The very people they're protesting. They are urging the re-election of a guy who's doing exactly what they say they detest. They're just dumb. They're just stupid. And that's what Durbin's counting on, is that everybody in the country is going to be stupid and not realize that he's the reason that all this happened. And Barney Frank and Chris Dodd. And Barney Frank and Chris Dodd and whoever knows it, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the housing crisis, the reason your home is underwater is the Democrat Party. Business Insider. Story published yesterday. Basically, Obama has confirmed everybody's worst fears about financial regulation. This morning, we touched on Obama's comments with regard to Bank of America's controversial $5 a month debit card fee. When asked about it by George Stephanopoulos, Obama said it was stuff like this that called for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So see, you use Dodd-Frank to create chaos in the banking business, and that chaos then you use as a reason to create a new bureaucracy to regulate, control, and do damage to the banking business. Use Dodd-Frank to cause an increase in fees and then punish the fee increase. It's what's known as a double bind. And only authoritarians who hate the private sector would do something like this. So you cause the fees to go up, and when that happens, then you create a new bureaucracy to deal with it. It's the way of the world for these people. I got to get the break. We'll be back.
The wonder of Rush will continue on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
You know, these student protesters, Bank of America thing, all these things, they remind me of remember the irony, the Wall Street protesters complaining about their student loans? Everybody always complains about their student loans. Yeah. Some quit college to go to the protest. Everybody's always complaining about their student loans. Well, who is in charge of handling student loans these days? If I'm not mistaken, Obama took that over shortly after he took over General Motors and Chrysler. That's right. White House, they put themselves in charge of the student loan program, and now look at the mess that student loans are in. There is said to be more than $1 trillion outstanding debt in student loans. You think so? They're gouging? What about profit? What about tuition? How come nobody at the regime ever talks about trying to bring the cost of education down? It's because their buddies work there, and that's their standard of living. Here's Obama. Okay, it's January 29, 2009. This is what I didn't know until a guy from Houston told me today.
There will be time for them to make profits, and there will be time for them to get bonuses. Now's not that time. And that's a message that I intend to send directly to them.
That was Obama, as the Brits say, Obama, in the Oval Office with tax cheat Tim Geithner, January 29, 2009. Time for profit, but not now. This afternoon on CNN's newsroom, the Infobabe, Randy Kay spoke with an Occupy Wall Street volunteer, Bill Dobbs. She said, so many issues here at play. The issue of unemployment, corporate greed, the environment, the wealth disparity. In terms of what your group wants at the end of the day, what can you think you actually gain?
To try and get more people involved is a huge effort because many of us are cynical, feeling despair, and angry. And this protest has tapped into that anger. Not only are people here because they've lost jobs, they've got really big student loan payments, but they also find when they come down to Occupy Wall Street and other protests that are beginning around the country, they find some community and they find some joy and some hope that there's going to be a difference if more of us roll up our sleeves.
Yeah, well, what happened to all that hope and change? What happened to all that joy? What happened to all that joy in 2008? The only thing this guy didn't say is that he wants world peace and to roll up your sleeves, work on whatever. It didn't explain what he wants. They want hope and change and community and joy, but all this stuff they're mad at, student loans, people lost their jobs. These people support the guy who's responsible for this. Anyway, it's a tool. He's a tool. He's a useful idiot. They all are. They're just. How can you say that about these people? It happens to be true, folks. Sorry.
Hear it now. Read about it in the paper tomorrow. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's GORL E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
Yeah, for 30 years, we've been told by the Democrats that children are the future. Save the children. And then we see what they've become. They're not the future, they're a total mess. There is no future. These people are all there is. You can pack it in, folks.
Attention EIP affiliates. Stand by for the Rush Limbaugh promo feed. Copyright 2011. EIP Net. Start all recording devices in 3, 2, 1. Now.
Rush Limbaugh.
The government raises $3 trillion and we're spending $4.5. And the idea that we're short on infrastructure, that we're short on funds for education, we are not short on anything.
Rush Limbaugh.
We don't need the guy at Starbucks passing a cup for $5. We don't need tweet for jobs, and we don't need these idiot Democrat senators raising taxes. We need these people to take a permanent vacation. The government raises $3 trillion and we're spending $4.5. And the idea that we're short on infrastructure, that we're short on funds for education, we are not short on anything. We don't need the guy at Starbucks passing a cup for $5. We don't need tweet for jobs, and we don't need these idiot Democrat senators raising taxes. We need these people to take a permanent vacation. I don't think there's any question, now I think about it, that the White House is behind Occupy Wall Street.
The Rush Limbaugh Week in Review.
The idea that this is strategically centered and created to look as though there is an effervescent, spontaneous, bubble-up response to the Tea Party is exactly what this is. And that's why some in the state-controlled media are giving it legitimacy, because they hate the Tea Party.
Rush Limbaugh.
This, the most listened to radio talk show in America today, Rush Limbaugh on top of my game like no other time. On a program which evolves to be what it needs to be, to remain the most listened to radio talk show in the world. How do we hold on to that lofty perch? Easy, my friends. We seek the truth. Pure and simple. It's a program founded on honesty. That's why I am the truth detective, America's truth detective. It is why I am considered to be America's doctor of democracy.
This concludes the promo feed. Production directors everywhere. Be with us next time as we make your life easier on the EIB network.
Wow, another tough day in the market. Are you tired of all the risk? Want to invest in a sure thing? Then do what all my friends do. Invest in green jobs.
Be part of the green power revolution of wind, solar, and perpetual motion sweeping America.
I know what you're thinking. Investing in unproven technologies and startup companies with shaky finances is dangerous. But not if you're one of my close friends. Your investment is protected the Chicago way. Backed up by the full faith and credit of somebody else, the United States government.
Close friends are required to raise significant funds for the re-election of President Barack Obama. Only bundlers of $1 million or more will qualify for this exclusive offer. Act now to get in on this risk-free investment, guaranteed by the United States government.
In today's investment world, it pays to be one of my friends.
Paid for by friends to re-elect President Obama and what's left of the Solyndra Corporation.
If tomorrow all of this were gone, the American way of life, and I had to start again, well, I'd be sure to ditch my wife.
I'd thank my lucky stars. Who needs the USA?
Yeah, that flag didn't stand for nothing, so we just threw it away.
I'd be proud to be a Canadian, cause at least their health care's free. And I'd rather be an Iranian, cause they all hate Bush like me. And I'll gladly stand up for illegals too and defend their right to stay. Cause there ain't no doubt we hate this land, we hate the USA. Well, we all like Minnesota,
but I still hate Tennessee. I could have become president, but they didn't vote for me. There's not much that we recognize in between New York and L.A.
If there's any pride left in the American heart, then it's time we stand and say, hey, hey, oh, oh.
I'd be proud to be a Canadian, cause at least their health care's free. And I'd rather be an Iranian, cause they all hate Bush like me. And I'd gladly stand up for illegals too and defend their right to stay. Cause there ain't no doubt we hate this land, we hate the
I think everybody know that already. Don't you?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. All righty. Yeah, show prep never stops, folks. Even while executing assigned host duties flawlessly, and I do the assigning, the learning never stops. No, I'm serious. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, the children. We must do it all for the children. Okay. Well, the little schlubs have grown up, and they're down in Wall Street, and they're debating and agonizing over whether to sew their sleeping bags. You know, my question for why do you need sleeping bags? I thought global warming was taking place. What do you mean it's going to get chilly? You stupid idiots. Sorry. Dial it back, Rush. Folks, I'm sorry. You know, I just get passionate about this. I just don't suffer fools very well. And my mom always told me not to laugh at people dumber than me. That makes it, I don't laugh very much if I follow what she says. Sometimes I can't help it. As bad as I try, as much as I try to live the life my mother raised me to live, sometimes I just can't help but laughing at these people. And if I don't laugh at them, I'm just going to get mad. And what's the point of that? 30 years ago, do it for the children. There they are. Well, if that's what we created, all that stupid coddling and conflict resolution classes and self-esteem classes, then we are punked. But thankfully, folks, these people, this is not spontaneous, and it's a real minority. But the way these people are being treated versus the Tea Party, I'm going to show you that here in just a second via audio sound bites. But labor unions are part of this. MoveOn.org is part of this. So the labor unions now stand for socialism. They do. If you listen to Trumka, if you listen to son of a bitch Jimmy Hoffa, well, folks, call us sons of bitches. I take it back. I was just trying to be funny. It was inappropriate. They did, but if you listen to it, it's all socialists. But is that what union members believe? Some of these union members, really, they're hard workers. Some of the union rank and file work hard. Some of the jobs those people have, coal miners, this is hard work. They break their backs. Do they think that their taxes ought to go to people for free college and free health care and guaranteed jobs? I'm talking about the rank and file. Do they think they ought to be breaking their backs for this spoiled, rotten bunch of kids down on Wall Street? Is that what labor union members believe? Because their bosses are supporting it now. Their bosses are funding it. Their bosses are underwriting it. My guess is that there is a whole lot of Reagan Democrats in these labor unions. There are a whole lot of conservatives in these labor unions. They've got no control over how their dues are spent. But they do control how they vote. And I don't think they support the welfare state like this. You used to talk about welfare queens. We now have welfare punks. You know, you Wall Street people, you Occupy Wall Street. What is sleeping bags? Why not just a cardboard box? That's been shown to work well. You can find under these dilapidated bridges in this country a lot of people sleeping in cardboard boxes underneath them. You know what I think we ought to do, ladies and gentlemen? Call for a union tax. And I am not kidding. Unions are like corporations now. They have executive management. They have boards of directors. They have shareholders in the form of members. And they have employees in the form of staff. And we hear all this talk about paying your fair share. We hear all this talk about raising revenue to pay for jobs. So why is it that large, wealthy, cash-rich organizations are exempt from paying the federal corporate income tax? I am absolutely serious about this. How come the unions get away with not being taxed. Why should we accept as a given a policy set decades ago by the progressives giving favored treatment to unions, which are essentially just corporate entities of their own? No, I'm serious. Look, at these people have hundreds of millions of dollars to use for politics. Why can't they afford their fair share, as the liberals like to call it? No matter how many union members are out of work, the money is always found in the hundreds of millions to donate to Democrats. The unions exist to fund the Democrat Party more than they exist to ensure jobs for the rank and file. Now, private sector unionization is less than 10% of the workforce. But they have enormous clout because the government has set them up with protections, including favored tax treatment. All we hear about oil company subsidies and other rich corporations with all their tax breaks. So we never hear about the fact that the unions are protected, including with favored tax treatment. They're not churches. They're not shelters. They're not food kitchens. They're not charities. Rich unions should not be protected. Liberals want to talk about corporations and profits. Well, how about rich unions that don't pay 1 penny in federal income tax, and they make lots of profit? They shouldn't be tax exempt. There. You know what? I just swerved into it. I think I just found a new source of revenue the Republicans could support at the next debate. The media and the Democrats, one and the same, constantly haranguing Republicans. Well, what about the revenue side? What about the revenue side? Okay, Romney, Perry, Santorum, Paul. Forget Paul. Kane, whoever, Bachmann, you support tax increases on the unions as corporate entities. New source of revenue. No reason they should be exempt. None whatsoever. Okay, back to audio soundbites 2930. Going to replay this one for you. Afternoon today, CNN's newsroom, the info babe, Randy Kay, spoke with Occupy Wall Street, quote-unquote, volunteer Bill Dobbs. She said, so many issues here at play. There's the issue of unemployment. It's so terrible. Corporate greed, the environment, the wealth disparity. In terms of what your group wants, at the end of the day, what do you think you can actually gain?
To try and get more people involved is a huge effort because many of us are cynical, feeling despair, and angry. And this protest has tapped into that anger. Not only are people here because they've lost jobs, they've got really big student loan payments, but they also find when they come down to Occupy Wall Street and other protests that are beginning around the country, they find some community and they find some joy and some hope that there's going to be a difference if more of us roll up our sleeves.
That's a walking cliche. Right out of Central Casting, exactly right. They find some community and they find some joy and some hope that there's going to be a difference if more of us roll up our sleeves. What? No sleeping bags. No sleeping bags, and they don't have any doctors, nurses, or clean water. They're asking for all that to be donated. They want the doctors to donate the services, the nurses. See, they can't pay for anything. That's capitalist. That's how they write it and spell it on their website. So then the info babe said, well, you know, some people are looking at your group and what they see is a sort of a version of a liberal Tea Party. Is that how you see yourself?
A lot of different viewpoints are represented in this crowd and our supporters around the country. The idea that the next generation might do as well as some of us now is a smashed dream. So the outcry down here, right now, there isn't a central major demand or slogan, but what it enables others to do is to bring their own issues.
What does that mean? It enables others to bring their own issues. What, do you cook the issues? Do you eat them? What's the point of bringing them? Anyway, that's how CNN treated a volunteer at the Occupy Wall Street protest. But let's go back. April 15th of 2009, CNN's newsroom. Wait a second. It's the same show. CNN's newsroom in 2009, the infobabe is Susan Rosgen, or Rosgen, and she was reporting live from a Chicago Tea Party. And here is a portion of an exchange she had with an unidentified Tea Party, a bunch of them, Tea Party protesters. And you will hear the infobabe Kira Phillips, the CNN infobabe, then defending the CNN correspondent Susan Rosgen, whatever, because I guess this gets pretty heated. So the infobabe says to the Tea Party protester, "Why are you here today, sir?"
Because I hear a president say that he believed in what Lincoln stood for. Lincoln's primary thing was he believed that people had the right to liberty and they had the right...
Sir, what does this have to do with taxes? What does this have to do with your taxes? Do you realize that you're eligible for a $400
credit? Finish my point. Lincoln believed that people had the right to share in the fruits of their own labor and that government should not take it. And we have clearly gotten to that point.
Wait, did you know that the state of Lincoln gets $50 billion out of these stimulus? That's $50 billion for this state, sir.
Ma'am, can you stop this, sir? Hold on.
Okay, well, Kira, we'll move on over here. I think you get the general tenor of this. It's anti-government, anti-CNN, since this is highly promoted by the right-wing conservative network Fox. And since I can't really hear much more, and I think this is not really family viewing, toss it back to you, Kira.
Wow, that is the prime example of what we're following across the country there.
Yeah, so that's how CNN treated the Tea Party versus how they treated the numbnuts guy down at the Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street protest. Sir, are you aware that the state of Lincoln gets $50 billion out of this? The answer is, yeah, it's my money. Where do you think the money's coming from, you idiot infobabe? We're raising taxes to give Illinois $50 billion. Let them come up with their own money. We're already taxed enough. And by the way, the news media, the CNNs, they're out there hiding the worst signs that the Wall Street protesters are carrying around with the Tea Party. They went so far as to even make signs up that the Tea Party was not using, and then claimed that they were. Went out of their way to find crazy signs from the Tea Party. Where are all the complaints? Where are all of the complaints about the Occupy Wall Street racial makeup? All these protesters are young and white. Why are there no complaints about the lack of diversity in the Occupy Wall Street crowd?
No rush, and you'll know the truth on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
Talent on loan from God. Rush Limbaugh and the EIB network. This kind of Wall Street protest has been in the back of the Obama campaign's mind for years. You remember when Obama warned the Wall Street bankers that he was the only thing standing between them and the people with pitchforks? Who was it that arranged for protesters to go to the homes and the front lawns of AIG executives to protest their bonuses? Who is it that has websites that organize all of this? None other than the Messiah, the one, Barack Hussein Obama. Who was it who promised all the joy, wonderment, and hope and change? No cost for anything that you want, including free health care and free education. Who was it made people think that's what was going to happen if he became president? Barack Hussein Obama. You have a voice inside Washington, and I have talked about them often, the Heritage Foundation. They, at the Heritage Foundation, are probably the most conservative voice working on your behalf in Washington, behind the scenes. Today, they posted an open letter to Obama and the United States Congress. And you can read it. There's a website they've created just for this purpose. It's called endthespending.com. The researchers at Heritage have calculated today's crushing debt level of $14.3 trillion. And actually, it's a little bit more than that now with the debt ceiling having been raised, but we'll use the $14.3 trillion. That debt level equals $47,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. If we wanted to retire the debt, that's what we would have to collect from everybody. Now, you know it's going to take both reforming taxes and spending to solve this debt crisis. We've had 80 years, folks, of New Dealism, liberalism, and it's going to be a long, arduous task to roll this stuff back. Now, Wall Street crowd, they just want the debt to be forgiven. Just forget it. Nobody owes anything starting now. Wipe the slates clean. Nobody owes anybody anything. Chi-Coms don't owe us anything. We don't owe the Chi-Coms. Nobody owes any more on their student loans. You don't owe any more to your house or your car. Essentially, everything's free. That's what they want. Not possible. But at this website, stopthespending or endthespending.com, endthespending.com is an open letter, tens of thousands of signatures. And this kind of thing has real impact in Congress. You can read that letter at endthespending.com, and if you find yourself in agreement, you can sign your name to it. It's another way you can get your voice heard on the debt crisis in the country. It's a subdivision, if you will, of the Heritage Foundation, endthespending.com. I know a lot of you surf the web. Go visit it. Like everything else Heritage does, top drawer, top shelf, and you'll love it. I don't know if you're aware of this. If you have your TV on today, you are. There's a suspected gunman on the loose in Cupertino, California, which just happens to coincidentally be where Apple Incorporated is headquartered. And this guy has shot 2 or 3 people at his workplace at about 4 o'clock this morning. It turns out that the Cupertino gunman appears in a YouTube video with the Reverend Jackson. And it's also easy to understand, quite natural, YouTube has pulled that video down. It's about the gunman accused of being the shooter in Cupertino today. 2, maybe 3 people have been killed. The subject is a producer for the San Jose cable access station Create-TV. His name is Sharif Ullman. And he is seen on YouTube video interviewing the Reverend Jackson at a Walter Hawkins memorial celebration. The clip lists the Reverend Jackson as executive producer and host. It was dated September 24, 2010. Now, what happened is that Sharif Ullman walked into a meeting at his workplace in Cupertino, 4 o'clock today, Wednesday morning. He opened fire. Police said he also shot a woman as he tried and failed to steal her car in a parking lot, a Hewlett-Packard parking lot in Santa Clara, before running into a neighborhood in nearby Sunnyvale. This guy, Sharif Ullman, has authored a book titled Saving Grace on the subject of domestic violence. Now, not clear if Sharif Ullman still worked at Create-TV, the cable access bunch. He was an employee at Lehigh Permanente Cement Plant, which is the location of the workplace shooting early today. And there's no truth to the rumor that he's ticked off that there wasn't an iPhone 5 announced. However, he did interview the Reverend Jackson. And YouTube has pulled the video. Imagine that. YouTube has pulled. I wonder, ladies, did YouTube take down the video of the shooter interviewing Jesse Jackson because they were afraid that the Reverend Jackson might be blamed for this murderer? I mean, look how Sarah Palin and I got blamed for the shooting incident, Gabby Giffords. Maybe they're really worried here that the Reverend Jackson, who knows what the interview was. I don't know what Reverend Jackson said to get this guy all worked up. Maybe nothing, but we don't know. They pulled the video. It's awfully suspicious out there, folks.
And now, a sad story of hard times from Sharpton and Jackson.
The Justice Brothers.
Times are hard out there. We know from experience.
Recently, my Escalade rental was stripped. Rims, radio, and reclining bucket seats.
And while everybody's talking about a double dip, we got a triple scoop recession at the National Action Network.
We both need a stimulus now more than ever.
And a payroll tax holiday.
Payroll tax holiday?
Yeah, retroactive to the second quarter of 1998.
But no matter how bad it gets, we both have each other to lean on.
That's what being a Justice Brother is all about. I help you, and you help me.
That's right.
You want to buy a raffle ticket?
Well, let me see.
Oh, you don't want to look at that.
First prize, dinner with Al Sharpton, he pays. Second prize, dinner with Al Sharpton, you pay. Third prize, selected auto parts. Hey, wait a minute. Those are my rims. Come back here, you hustler. You just think these are bad times. I'm going to give you a really bad time.
I didn't know it was from your escapade. Times are hard.
Love and togetherness through thick and thin. Sharpton and Jackson, the Justice Brothers. It's the jewel of the Caribbean, but it's not for everybody.
Gitmo, the Muslim resort.
It's a luxury resort just for terrorist wannabes.
Come down and visit for some R&R, for some rest and relaxation.
It's paradise on earth.
Diet, Korans, prayer rugs. I mean, where else can Muslims go in the world to find everything they need?
Truly a deluxe vacation spot for true believers everywhere.
There's no better place than Gitmo, Club Gitmo, the Muslim resort.
Club Gitmo, there is nothing in the world quite like it.
It's a one-of-a-kind resort on the west coast of Cuba, overlooking the bay. Every visitor, every check-in at no charge gets a new Koran, a new prayer rug, Muslim chefs, Muslim dietary laws, 5 prayer sessions a day.
Club Gitmo, reserve your spot today.
Club Gitmo has been endorsed by Amnesty International. It's a tropical paradise down there where Muslim extremists and terrorist wannabes can get together for rest and relaxation.
Remember, Muslim extremists everywhere. At Club Gitmo, we have a spot reserved for you. What college do you dream of sending your kids to? Yale, Harvard, Princeton?
Forget it. Those are the universities of yesteryear. The school of the future is COC.
Community Organizer College.
I'm a graduate, and I just took control of General Motors. And now I'm thinking of taking over Chrysler, too. Maybe. Or selling it to an Italian bicycle company, I think.
Want your kids to run a giant company or even an entire industry like healthcare, banking, or insurance? Enroll him or her at COC, Community Organizer College.
Do you want your darlings to have trillions of dollars of money to spread around? Apply to Community Organizer College. Our teachings are based on a major breakthrough in education. It's not what you know, it's what people think you know.
At COC, Community Organizer College, we don't waste time teaching English, history, math, science, or business management.
We teach cool. We teach pompous. We teach teleprompter, doublespeak, seducing the media.
Community Organizer College.
Where your kids can learn to run a company or a country. Who knows? Maybe the entire planet.
Community Organizer College. Capacity is limited. Better act now. For an application, dial 1-800-ACORN-COC.
It's not what you know. It's what people think you know.
You know these wall... Do they have... What are they doing? Use the bathroom? What are the Wall Street occupiers? It's a good question. The only time I think about this, Snurdly, is astronauts. But I got the answer to astronauts. They just wear long tubes. And got good vacuum systems. But the Wall Street crowd, the Wall Street occupiers, what do they do for bathrooms? Well, no. You wouldn't see porta potties. Somebody have to pay for the porta potty. They probably go into Starbucks. Find a Starbucks or I don't know what they do. I'll tell you who they are. You are looking for. You want to know what community organizers do? This is it. If you've ever wondered what Obama, this is agitation. This is pure and simple. This community organizing. And these protesters are the real face of the Democrat Party's agenda. And this, look at it, unions plan to join Occupy Wall Street. You rank and file union members. I know you may not like me. You may think I'm too hard on you, but you got to understand it's your leadership that I talk about. I know a lot of you union people break your backs out there. Some of the jobs you have are demandingly hard physical labor. Are you really working and paying dues so your union can join a bunch of rich white freeloaders who don't want to pay for anything? Is that what your union ought to be doing? Because they're going to be down there joining them. I saw a couple union leaders today. I forget, AFL-CIO was one, but you know Jimmy Hoffa is going to send a team down there, and you know that Trumka will. And what we have is, and these rich white spoiled brats are out there demanding that people give them things because they don't want to be capitalists and go buy it and pay for it themselves. So no, your union dues are going to fund support for these people. I can't believe that some of the rank and file really support that and work for this purpose. You just saw a sign that billionaires, your time is up. What really? How's that so? What are they going to do to the billionaires? Look at this. Here's MSNBC's got a graphic of all the cities in the country where these people are protesting, as though it's great and it's big and it's worthwhile. And MSNBC is acting in total awe of this. It contrasts it the way the Tea Party. They have been hoping something like this would happen spontaneously, but it didn't, so they had to create it. As I'm telling you, this is the face of the Democrat Party and their agenda, which is why Democrats can never get elected as long as they are open and honest about their real agenda. And that's why this is going to hurt them. Because the average American is going to realize and listen to 2 minutes of this, these people want me to go to work so that I can pay taxes so that they don't have to pay for anything. By the way, Sturtley, according to reports, I wasn't far off. They're using restaurants at local McDonald's and other restaurants. They're walking into these places to use the restroom. And, of course, with all the media down there, these restaurants are not going to invoke the policy says you can't. From the New Haven Independent, the only thing the community doesn't have is a bathroom, said Infodesk staffer Kevin Schenneberger. In the absence of any public toilets, many of the occupiers have been using a bathroom at a local McDonald's. Now, I don't know if that's, because that's New Haven, Connecticut, I don't know if that's the actual Wall Street crowd. I don't know the McDonald's down there. Haven't been in a while. Okay, so these people, these rich, white, spoiled, rotten jerks, want everybody else to pay taxes so they don't have to pay for anything. What do we want? What do we want free? We want, I'll list it for you. We want free speech. We want freedom of association, freedom to bear arms, free markets, freedom of religion, freedom from confiscatory taxation, private property, freedom from government smothering regulations, freedom from lawless politicians and bully bureaucrats. We want freedom from union bosses and their demands and freedom from race-baiting hacks. We want freedom from Obamacare, freedom from cap and trade, freedom from activist judges. We want freedom from subsidizing communist professors, incompetent teachers, and spoiled brats dancing in the streets, chanting incoherent slogans. We want freedom from food police, light bulb police, salt police. That means freedom from Mayor Doomberg. We want freedom from the America haters who seek to destroy this society and demand that we pay for it. That's our freedom agenda. We want freedom from. Oh, I'm told there is a McDonald's down there. Well, live and breathe. There is a McDonald's down near the Wall Street Stock Exchange. Who knew? Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, we, and it might have been Monday, we shared with you a story. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, found some emails that prove Eric Holder is lying when he said that he didn't know anything about Fast and Furious until weeks ago. Emails prove that he was being updated on it as far back as the summer of 2010. This is not the first time that Attorney General Holder has lied like this. Back during the Clinton years, the end of the Clinton regime, the Mark Rich pardon was in Holder's department. And he claimed not to know the details of Mark Rich's case as he was preparing to advocate for the pardon for Mark Rich. He claimed, I didn't really know all the stuff that Rich had done. I wasn't fully informed. He said this at his Senate confirmation hearings to be Attorney General for Obama, as the Brits say. And he wasn't telling the truth then. How did he get confirmed? Because a bunch of... I'll tell you why. Because a bunch of Republican judicial experts, the people you see on TV, lawyers, Republican senators, did not have the guts to say no to the first black attorney general. This is back in the days where the Republicans thought the only thing to do here was talk about how wonderful all of this was. From a historical context. Didn't have the guts to oppose any of this. Didn't have the guts to. Thought they'd been told by their consultants, everybody else, no, do not oppose President. But look at, country loves this man. Country has such high hopes. We have got to make it look like we love this man and we support everything this man wants to do. Country, that's so. The fact that Holder was nowhere near qualified didn't matter. So, here's the story. The Fast and Furious scandal. Cheryl Atkinson uncovered the emails that show Eric Holder may have committed perjury. The Fast and Furious scandal, in which the Justice Department knowingly gave Mexican criminal gangs thousands of guns, just keeps escalating. The latest development centers around whether or not Holder lied to Congress about having knowledge of the gun trafficking operation. Recently released documents say that Holder was briefed about the operation long before he told the Judiciary Committee he was first aware of what was going on. Holder now claims he misunderstood the question being asked. What's more, CBS News investigative journalist Cheryl Atkinson, who's been covering the scandal from the beginning for CBS, said in an interview on Laura Ingram's radio show, I guess this was yesterday, that the White House and Justice Department have been screaming at her for reporting the story. In between the yelling that I received from the Justice Department yesterday, the spokeswoman, who wouldn't put anything in writing, was asking her for explanations so there'd be clarity and no confusion later over what had been said. She wouldn't put anything in writing, so we talked on the phone, and she said things such as the question Holder answered was different than the one he was asked, but he phrased it, he said very explicitly, the DOJ woman was just yelling at me. The guy from the White House on Friday night literally screamed at me and cussed at me. The White House guy, the person at Justice screaming at her is a guy named Eric Schultz. Or Tracy Schmaler, and that might be the Justice Department person. But anyway, the White House, the Justice Department yelling at the CBS reporter for reporting the story. And folks, what did I do with this? Obama has not been asked a question about Fast and Furious in something like, where is this? It's somewhere. It's weeks. I'll find it. I got to take a break. I'll find it. Obama has not been asked a question by the media about Fast and Furious in weeks, and now they are yelling at the reporter for CBS for reporting the story. Justice Department and the White House regime. Back. Cheryl Atkinson, she used to be at CNN years ago, back in the 80s, early 90s. In fact, Cheryl Atkinson once invited me to be her guest at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I graciously turned down. She thought it would raise the roof off the place, which would have been, I want to see the CBS table. I don't go to the thing anyway. It'd be like showing up for a debate at Telemundo. You just don't do it. Why waste the time? The people in that room hate each other, and they put that on hold. They try to make it look like It's all hunky-dory, but all that ends up happening is conservatives and Republicans get joked about, insulted, laughed at all night long, and they sit there, oh yeah, and they laugh at themselves, and they laugh at the jokes being told about them, they laugh at the insults being told about them. All because it looks like we all have to get along. Everybody expects people to get along, and it's just it's a zoo. Anyway, I was very gracious when I declined her invitation, but that's who this is that they're yelling at. We'll be back right after this.
Order now and see who Rush nominates for Obama's ugliest czar in the October Limbaugh letter. Call 888-395-7874. You're listening to the EIB Network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screen if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans think that illegals should head back home. We used to think so too, till we realized illegals could pay 21% interest on their credit cards, just like the gringos. Introducing the all-new Bank of Amigo card. The Bank of Amigo card is the best friend an undocumented worker ever had. Packed with special features like bonus points for every day you're in our country. Good towards health care, border crossings, college education, fake IDs, and so much more. And the Bank of Amigo card is the only card endorsed by Senator John McCain.
If you need cash and can't wait till mañana, then the Bank of Amigo card is for you. Plus, the more you owe, the less likely you are to be deported.
There's no immigration check, no social security number required. Just sign your name, or anybody else's, on the dotted line.
Caramba, it's easier than sneaking in. Thanks, Bank of Amigo.
The Bank of Amigo card, because when it comes to money, we're all amigos.
This is why I call them the state-controlled media. It has been 92 days since the White House press corps asked Jay Carney about Fast and Furious. 92 days. For those of you in Rio Linda, that's 3 months. 92 days. The White House press secretary has not had a question. Other people are, but the White House press secretary has not been asked a question about it in 92 days. Folks, you will not believe what LegalZoom doing right now. LegalZoom is one of our proud sponsors. They're so happy to be an advertiser. All of our advertisers are happy, and we love having them. But, you know, for nearly a decade, LegalZoom gave you an affordable way to legally protect yourself, your business, and your family doing it yourself. Nearly 2 million people use LegalZoom to make a will, to start a business, take care of other legal matters. Now, think about that for a second. Most people totally intimidated by anything. Go to a lawyer. Just let the lawyer handle it. LegalZoom, you can do it yourself. Save all kinds of money. 94% of the 2 million people who have used LegalZoom say that they would refer LegalZoom to others. Now, how do you beat all that? Well, you add guidance from an attorney at no cost. And how do you do that? Well, the secret is technology. Makes the process more efficient. It's not just any attorney. You'll have access to a helpful attorney licensed in your state if it'll make you feel better. Get answers to your questions and peace of mind for wills, living trust, LLCs, and more. And now, help from an attorney at no additional cost. LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom's not a law firm. Provides self-help service at your direction. Free attorney help provided through a trial of the Legal Advantage program available in most states. It's LegalZoom.com. Steve in Wichita. I'm glad you waited, sir. Welcome to the EIB network.
Hey, Capitolis dittos.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I was wondering if you had thought, well, I'm sure you did think about it, but the 5% surcharge that was added to this jobs bill, could it just go beyond the obvious class welfare benefit, and maybe it's just a clumsy attempt of Reed to elicit more Republican opposition to the bill, something they can beat us over the head with later?
Well, I think, the whole point of this bill is to illustrate Republicans as protecting the rich, not caring about people's jobs or bridges, or their kids, or any of the sort. So you raise the tax, 5% tax on the millionaires and billionaires, yeah.
Right, but that opposition was already there. I'm just wondering if the 5% couldn't possibly have been a way to actually sabotage the bill even more, to make sure that there was no way that there could be another...
It's not going to pass. There's no way. It's not intended.
Well, no, I didn't think it was going to pass either, but after McConnell did his little bluff, calling Reed's bluff, I mean, he has to figure out some way. I'm not saying he's doing it very well, but he's got to figure out some way to make it harder for the Republicans to call his bluff again.
I don't think wish I had more time. I really got to go. I don't know that they're going to call his bluff again. I think, remind me, I got to pick this up tomorrow because I literally don't have any time.
Somebody has to have the guts to say it. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew. Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one by volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller. You'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
The last caller is questioned. Look, the Democrats just want to set it up so that the Republicans are seen to be defending millionaires and billionaires. Literally, that's what Dingy Harry's move is all about. They think that's brilliant optics. I think most Americans are now way too sophisticated to see that for what it is. This is not 20 or 30 years ago when this kind of stuff worked all the time. See you tomorrow, folks. Adios.